Hello, Mel Rodmore here, and I am back to talk some more BB24. And we had an episode last night, and we've had a couple days worth of feeds stuff going down, and there's been a decent amount actually. Like I wasn't sure I'd be doing another one this soon. Like I did one 2 days ago, but yeah, enough has gone down that it's like, yeah, I'm ready to do another one. But the first thing I want to talk about something kind of big. The eviction episode is not going to be tonight. It has been moved to Sunday. And, like, it is what it is. But what I was really worried about was losing feeds for 3 or 4 days. It's like, are we just not going to know what happens? I was pretty worried about that. And a lot of people were worried. But mercifully, the feeds I hit the wrong thing on my phone. The feeds are gonna be back right after the eviction on Thursday. They're still gonna do it on Thursday. We just won't see it until Sunday. But when the feeds come back on, we're just gonna be like, well, Taylor slash Pooch is still here, so Pooch slash Taylor went home. Hopefully, it's Taylor still here and Pooch went home, which seems to be the plan. But you never can tell. I already have 2 viewers. Hello, thank you both for being here. I don't have too many thoughts on last night's episode itself. Like, it was not atrocious, I guess. I mean, it had some annoying moments, I will admit. Like, all of Jasmine's DRs are excruciating. Like, I just can't. Her voice is so annoying and not serious, and I just can't take it. And her last DR of the episode, I'm not even gonna repeat it. Like it, she said the word blindside and then some alliterative food that goes with it, and I'm just like, come on, are we not adults here? Scarlet Rain 88 waves. Hi, thank you for being here. Didn't think you would be, but I appreciate it. I know you can't be around for long. I know you have plans. If you're watching this and you don't know, me and Scarlet are friends beyond Twitch, just so you know. But anyway, as far as the veto competition last night, I actually did enjoy it. I thought, it was similar to competitions they've had in the past, but it wasn't like there was a little bit of originality in it. I definitely like the concept of the beads making a huge mess, and like Pooch was, well, pardon the pun, but he was screwing himself. He was screwing the Pooch because he was just making such a mess. Like they said, you were allowed to clear it off, like before you took your shot with your head, but um, like it. Apparently, they could not go beyond like the plastic divider thing. Like that was as far as they could go. Like they couldn't go beyond that. The fact that no one went and tried to clear off the beads that got in front of that plastic divider, that told me that they just weren't allowed to. Like they weren't allowed to go over there and clear it off. That's been a change of plans. Very annoying. Haha. Oh, sorry. But I know the feeling. Big Brother is supposed to have the eviction tonight, but they they had a change of plans, and now it's going to be on Sunday. So that's fun. But yes, the competition itself, I liked. They had to get these balls or pearls from one end to the other while they were wearing mermaid outfits. Like it was silly, but it's the kind of silliness you expect from Big Brother after all this time. So it's like I didn't mind the competition. I thought it was fun. Like a little goofy, but you know, I was I was into it. Terrence in that competition was cracking me up because he was talking about how he was worried everyone in Chicago was going to pick on him for looking like a mermaid. I'm like, dude, you look like a dying fish on a dock. You didn't look like a mermaid. But he did his best, but he didn't win. Michael won, which we knew. And that's the last thing I want to talk about. A lot of people were like, Taylor was really close to winning, but then Michael decided to just take it for himself. Well, watching the episode, it wasn't quite that cut and dry because Michael had two, Taylor had two, Pooch had two. And, you know, Michael was like, Pooch is dangerously close to winning this veto, and that cannot happen. But, like, he and Taylor were lined up to take their shot, and he's like, go ahead, Taylor, you take your shot, see if you can win this thing for yourself. She took the shot, she missed, and Michael was like, I have to take my shot now because Pooch could very well win this thing. So Michael took his shot and he won. And it's like, I get it. I get in that position. I also probably would have tried to do the same to throw it to Taylor, but you know, I understand Michael's position there. And I understand why he didn't use the veto, although hearing that Joseph plan that I don't even think I knew about, I don't remember seeing anything about that. All it was to just take Taylor down, put Joseph up, guarantees that the duo of Joseph and Pooch is broken up no matter what happens. Like, I do kind of wish that plan caught fire a little more, but it didn't, and it's like, you know. Michael thought it was best for his game not to use it, and, you know, that's his game. He's in there. We're not. We can't tell him what to do. So, you know. He did what he thought he had to do in the moment, so I can't fault him for that. Trying to imagine half the guys as mermaids, and it's not a good image. Well, I mean, Terrence, he's 47 years old. He's the oldest contestant, and he's he's a bigger guy. You know, I'm not saying he's like, I mean, he's just like, I'm a big guy. Terrence is about as big as me, although I think I might be a little taller than him. Pooch, though, he had the mermaid tail on and no shirt, and his six-pack was going, so you know what, Scarlett? Go ahead and look up Pooch as a mermaid, and you know you might be impressed by it. I don't know. That's your thing. Okay, now that's the episode. That's all my thoughts on the episode. Now on to stuff that's happened on the feeds since my last stream, which was Tuesday. So Monty, who, again, like last time, he's just, on my last stream I was talking about how anti-Taylor he was, and at least on Tuesday, he hadn't really come off it yet. He was complaining to Terrence that Taylor was too comfortable in the house. Like, at this point, the veto had already been used. Michael didn't use it, I mean. The veto meeting had happened, is what I mean to say. And Taylor and Pooch are still on the block. Monty's complaining to Terrence. Taylor just seems like she's too comfortable. And, you know, Terrence, he's just kind of like going along with it. And Monty actually says something that really got me. He says that Michael may vote Pooch out on misinformation. And I'm like, your entire presence in this game is hating Taylor. That's the only thing anyone knows you for. And that came from misinformation. Like, Taylor tried to give you some game info. You ratted her out to Paloma. It fueled Paloma's jealousy. And Paloma spun it against her. And you're still on Paloma's side, even though she had to leave because she cracked. So yeah, just the nerve of him to be upset by misinformation affecting the game when his whole game is going off misinformation at this point. It's like, dude, you're not serious, right? And he goes on to say that he suspects the women are going to throw HOH to Taylor and have her take a shot at the men. And, you know, they actually might do that. But it's like, I don't know. It's just the fact that he refuses to believe anything Taylor says. He'll just, like, whatever he believes, like, he'll just take anything that reinforces that belief and ignore anything that challenges that belief. And it's the kind of thing that tells me that if he was there for the Salem witch trials, he would have absolutely been hanging and burning the witches. That's that's what I think. Monty to me is a Salem witch trial executioner. Also, if you see a shot for yourself, you kind of have to take it. Yeah, exactly. It's just like Pooch volunteered to go on the block, and everyone was like, "Oh, we have a shot at taking him out," and he's a threat. Like they think he's a physical threat. He hasn't won anything yet, but like he's definitely a social threat. He's playing a good social game with guys that can win costs down the road, like Monty and Joseph. So yeah, that's when Amira was like, "Okay, so we'll take the shot at Pooch now." Yeah, why would anyone volunteer themselves? I don't get it. Pooch thought he was comfortable, and he thought everyone was so anti-Taylor that like they wouldn't even consider doing anything else. And to be honest, if he hadn't volunteered himself, Taylor would probably have been the target this week. And if she didn't win that veto, she probably would be going home tonight. So it's like, first Taylor was saved by Paloma going crazy and having to leave the house. Now she's saved by Pooch being stupid and volunteering himself to go on the block. They're not quite anti-Taylor anymore, though, are they? Not as much. It still happens a little bit. But Taylor's place in the house has definitely moved up. Like, she has some paths forward, at least to jury now. Well, since I know like, Scarlett only she doesn't watch Big Brother. She just watches me, really, because she's a loyal friend and a loyal follower. So she just kind of knows about Big Brother through me talking about it. So allow me to make this clear in case you don't know. Jury is like when they get to 11 people, like when it's down to 11, the next 9 people become the jury, and the jury decides who wins when it gets down to the final 2. So yeah, the first 5 people evicted, they just go home. Good. I'd hate it if she left, lol. Yeah, me too. So would everybody. Taylor is the favorite at this point. All right. So, oh, this was interesting. Amira tells Alyssa that Kyle likes her, as in likes her, because we have to go off '90s school child verbiage here, because that's what they did. I mean, I get it; they're '90s kids, but still. I mean, okay, Alyssa is like barely a '90s kid. She's like 23, 24. Honestly, in my opinion, like a true '90s kid is born no later than '94. Because like after that, you're not even going to remember the '90s. Like I was born in the early '90s. I have very good memories of the '90s. So yeah, I'm a '90s kid, and Amira is about my age, so she's a '90s kid. Anyway, yes, that's what Amira tells Alyssa. Kyle likes her, and Alyssa already kind of likes Kyle, so Alyssa's like kind of excited about this. But Amira is really just kind of. I mean, Kyle likes her, but it's like it wasn't particularly clear that he was interested in pursuing something romantic or showmantic with her, getting into a showmance. And, Alyssa says that she does like him too, but she wants a final 2 with Amira. And I'm just like, Amira is definitely at least trying to screw with her head. At least that's what it seems like. A lot of people have theorized this. And it's like Amira and Alyssa are both trying to do a lot. They're both trying to play pretty hard and be close to each other. But I feel like it's gonna fall apart at some point, and they could very well turn on each other. And I think that'd be funny. Because they've both been on the Taylor hate train a lot. And like the thing with Amira is it's so frustrating because Amira just I've said this before, she comes so close to being a player that I could see myself rooting for, and then she just hops right back on the Taylor hate train and just chuggas along. with it. And it's just like, I feel like if Amira does outlast Taylor, I think Amira will become a much better player with Taylor gone and not having to obsess over her. But I won't be able to enjoy it because of how she's acted towards Taylor thus far. Sorry. And yeah, I agree. Thank you. So Monty, we got more of him. He starts telling the guys about all the women working together. And it's like, first of all, this is what Taylor tried to warn you about, and you launched your hate campaign on that she was lying, and now you're just saying what Taylor was warning you about. It's like, be consistent, dude. So he's just paranoid now. He's worried about all the women just ganging together and picking off all the men. And he's saying this to his all male alliance, his all bro alliance called Oasis. Frankly, I don't know why they didn't just call themselves Broasis. Because they're all bros. He should have listened to her and not ratted her out. Exactly. That's what everyone on BB Twitter is saying. Like, he should have retained the information. Like, he has information that could pit Paloma and Taylor against each other. Like, that could be something that you can use when your back's up against the wall. But instead, he just decides to give that information up freely. So, yeah. But yeah, he's complaining about his fears of an all-woman alliance to his all-man alliance. And it's like, he's even starting to get paranoid about what the women do say to the guys. Like, this is what he said. I put the actual quote here. He says, every dude is told something by a female. Do you not want them to talk to you at all? Would that make you feel better? Hmm? Just, I'm just spitballing here. And he's this obsessed and fearful of the women ganging up. And it's like, historically in Big Brother, all female alliances haven't really dominated the game very often. I mean, I started watching in BB18. I've watched as far back just as BB17. There's a couple early seasons I might watch someday. But in the seasons I have seen, there has not been a successful all-female alliance. So Monty is really making a mountain out of a molehill here. And he's making a very sexist mountain out of it. At that. Sassy sip. It's just water today because it's 90 degrees outside, feels like 100. And, Scarlett, you're British, so let me just make it clear to you, that's hot. And, so Joseph finally tells Pooch to calm down with all his touchy-feely behavior. Because Pooch he's a cuddler. Whether the other person wants to cuddle or not. Like, he's done it to a few people, but he does it to Joseph most of all. Like, even on last night's episode, there was a whole segment about how touchy-feely Pooch was with Joseph. Like, he even just grabs his peck at one point. Pooch grabs Joseph's peck. And like, in the diary room, Joseph's kind of laughing it off, but on the feeds, a couple days after that diary room was filmed, Joseph is like, hey man, come on, you gotta cool it down with all the touching. And Pooch actually starts to, like, he's not overly happy to hear that. And it's like, is this the end of the bromance? And I'm trying to go in order here, but we will get more on that. Uh, oh, okay. So, does he not respect personal space much? No, no, Pooch does not. Not even a little bit. So, Daniel, smell this. He's talking about how he's starting to get worried that Brittany spreads too much information. And honestly, I don't feel like Brittany spreads that much information. She tells people stuff, like everyone else tells people stuff. But whoever Brittany tells, they rat her out immediately. Like, it's what happened between, like, the whole Monty Taylor Paloma situation, but it's every time with Brittany. Almost every time. I feel like it's 90% of what Brittany says is ratted out to somebody. It's like, give her a chance here, people. Come on. And, no one really wants to talk game with her anymore, and they're starting to even become unsure if she's going to vote Pooch out. And it's like, people, you are worried for nothing. I mean, I don't really see any of the women voting to keep Pooch, but I especially don't see Brittany voting to keep him. I feel sorry for her. Yeah, me too. I mean, could she say a little bit less? I think so. But also, like, you don't have to rat her out everything she says. That's. So Monty, he he hears that Pooch threw his name out as Pooch was trying to find find a route to staying in the game. But he was just like, if this video gets used, we put up a bigger threat, then so be it. Like, if that threat were to be Monty, he's my friend, but we'll do what we got to do. So Monty hears about this. He doesn't believe him. And that's another thing about Monty. He only believes who he likes. He liked Paloma. He decided he didn't like Taylor. So that's why he's still, to this day, believing Paloma, what she said. Even though she's gone and what Taylor told him has come true. And he's now freaking out about it. He actually asks Amira where this idea came from to evict Pooch in the first place. And little does he know he is talking to where that idea came from because it was Amira's idea. But she just tries to give the excuse. It's like, everyone kind of did. He volunteered. So it's like, But he starts suspecting Jasmine. And I'm like, if you want to suspect Jasmine, I won't correct you because I don't like Jasmine and her annoying fake accent in the diary rooms. Like, I'm half expecting some kind of, like, linguistics, accent, diction specialist, expert, whatever, to come out and point out how fake Jasmine's accent is. Because she is not consistent between the diary room and when she's in the house. Sounds completely different. And like when she's just talking to people in the house, it's just like a combination of every southern state. It's like, oh, she sounds like Mississippi right now. Oh, that sounds like Tennessee. Hey, where'd West Virginia come from? You know? So it's like, Monty, if you want to start looking at Jasmine the wrong way over this, I won't stop you. Now, like I said, not a fan of Jasmine, but her and Terrence are talking after this, and they talk about how Monty needs to go, probably sooner rather than later. And I'm like, well, all I'm hearing is you're leaving Taylor alone. But they actually do bring her up because they want her to win HOH and take the shot. And that would be music to my ears. Okay? I would just be happy to see a Taylor HOH anyway. But seeing her take out Monty after how he was one of the people who led the charge to get her out of the house, there would be some very delicious justice in that. I would love if Taylor got HOH and put Monty and Jasmine up. Haha. Oh yeah, that'd be amazing. I don't think she would put up Jasmine though. I think she'd probably put up two guys. You know, she's been trying to get in with the guys to be like a sleeper agent to the girls, but that didn't really work. So now she's trying to get in good with the girls again, but they're still not 100%. So if Taylor wins HOH and puts two guys on the block, like that would really restore trust. The trust that she unfairly lost. So Pooch talks to Michael. He pitches an alliance with him to try and, keep himself safe. I don't remember who was in it. I feel like he named it like probably four other people to make it a six-person alliance, which again, six, the magic number for BB alliances. Michael, he's not buying it. He points out, it is day 14, and you've been excluding me from all the other alliances you've been making. So why would I want to make an alliance with you now when I could just get rid of you in the wake of all of that? And he says that he hopes he's excited to meet Julie on Thursday. And that is why I like Michael. Taylor is definitely the favorite in the house, but Michael is a close second. And they're kind of alternating between number one and two on the daily polls. And I imagine that's probably going to continue for most of the season. Like until one goes, then the other one might be able to move ahead. Savage. Yeah, really. But yeah, Taylor and Michael, like, they're the favorites. It's the dream final two, which is almost a guarantee that it won't happen. If Michael and Taylor ended up in the final two, who would you want to win if you had the choice? Oh boy. I mean, I love them both equally, and I think they're both good players. But I've always sworn that if I was on Big Brother, obviously I would not want to make a jury. I'd want to make it to the end. But if I found myself in jury, I swore to myself I would vote fairly. I would vote for who played the best game. And, so far, I think Michael is playing the better game of the two. But that's mostly because Taylor hasn't really had much of a chance to play the game thus far. But, there's still plenty of game left to go. So we shall see. Oh, God. This one. This was the funniest thing I have seen all season so far. Indy said that she doesn't want Turner on her bed because he doesn't shower. And he doesn't. Like, he showered, like, he did shower the other day, but apparently it had been like 4 days at that point. Like, bro, come on. That's a fair request to make. Yeah, but like it's how blunt Indy was with it. That's really what I loved. And it's why I love Indy, and a lot of people do. Indy is third on the daily polls because of just how chaotic she is. OMG, he must smell horrible at this point. There was a picture going around of him lying back with his feet up, and like his feet were almost black. It's like, dude, how did you let yourself get to this point? Like, stand in the shower for a couple minutes and just like rub the leftover water from the previous shower on your feet. That's not great, but it's an improvement. Don't, you'll make me sick. Sorry. Oh, my next thing I wrote in my notes, it's another Monty thing. He keeps obsessing over Taylor. Shocker. I'm trying not to itch my nose so much. I don't know what it is. I have a real problem. Like my nose just gets itchy while I'm streaming. Like is it something about me talking so much that makes my nose itchy? I don't know. Anyway, Monty still obsessing over Taylor. He's telling this to Amira now, and Amira says, like, she's next, don't worry. And, you know, Amira is just so untrustworthy. She's playing a good game, but the problem is a good Big Brother game does not make you very trustworthy. So I don't know if she's serious. Like, does she want to get Taylor out next? Is she telling Monty what he wants to hear? I don't know. Although this next thing I have written down is a little bit of hope. Monty actually talks to Taylor, and it's like, have you talked to her at all this whole time, or have you just been ganging up on her? But yes, he talks to her. He says that he's open to rebuilding trust with her, and he seems to be okay with her winning HOH and taking out Turner next, because Turner and Pooch are also pretty close with each other. Like they're not as handsy, but they're definitely friends. Pooch really doesn't want to get handsy with Turner because he smells bad. I just realized that now. So yeah, this conversation was going, and it's like I'm not really sure I believe Monty here. I think he might just be telling her something to keep her off his scent. But later on, he's telling Daniel and Terrence that he's with the majority now. He wants Pooch to go. And I'm just like, okay, he seemed to be serious in that conversation. It's just a matter of will he stick with it come eviction night? But I said that the last straw was hearing that Pooch talked to other people about conversations that he's had with them. So he is starting to suspect that Pooch is actually trying to throw him under the bus to save himself. Okay. This is where things got a little messy yesterday. Uh, Nicole says Brittany told Daniel, and that's another thing I don't like about this season. It's a lot of he said, she said, game of telephone going on. It's just like, it's a lot of hearsay. But Nicole says Brittany told Daniel that they can get the numbers to flip a vote and keep Pooch. Now, I think Brittany was saying this because they don't keep her in the loop very much anymore. She doesn't know who stands where. She wasn't sure what to say around Daniel. Smelvis, sorry. I keep trying to call him by the name he deserves. And it's like, I don't see her flipping on Pooch. And it's just like everyone is just refusing to believe her or even trust her. And this got a little tense when Amira and Jasmine they start trying to press Brittany about this, and they press her, and she's like, "I'm voting out Pooch." Like she mentions how for the backstage twist, he he picked her, like, and put her game in jeopardy. Basically, she doesn't know that America voted to save her from that twist. So yeah, she's gonna vote out Pooch on that, if nothing else. And she's like, I'm just playing it up to Joseph, try and keep them off the scent. And, she is allowed to talk to other people, but it's like, you have to trust her that she's not throwing everybody's name out. Although, she kind of is. But it's like, it's Big Brother. You have to protect yourself somehow. Like, everybody's doing it. And they were just throwing Brittany's name around when she wasn't there. It's like, you know, they will drop her like a hot potato. So why should Brittany trust them unconditionally when they don't trust her at all? So they keep pressing. Finally, Brittany's like, "What's wrong?" But she's getting the bad vibes. Finally, Amira just says that she's not sure she can trust her, and it's like, well, I'm sure I can't trust you, Amira, because you keep going back and forth between a good player and an annoying one. I mean, just the fact that she's going back and forth makes her consistently annoying. But it's like she says annoying stuff when she stops talking sense. So they keep talking. Brittany just keeps trying to say, like, listen, I am here for you. I'm on the side. I am part of the girls group. And Amira seemingly forgives her. But, I don't trust her. And I definitely don't think she fully trusts Brittany. If she trusts her at all. And this conversation, the tension goes down. They reaffirm, like, we're getting Pooch out. Pooch is the target. And this whole thing just made me realize Brittany is never going to have a fair chance in this game. Because a big part of staying alive is talking to people, making connections. And Brittany is, like, not allowed to do that. No one retains any information that she gives them. They just rat her out immediately and use it against her. It's like, oh, she's talking game. We can't trust her. Like, everyone here is talking game. If they're not talking game, get them out because they came here to just be on TV for a while. Just have a modicum of trust in her. Like, Brittany is not working against you, and even if she does decide to, it doesn't look like she's going to win anything anytime soon. Because she hasn't really done well in any competition so far. All right, but here is where it starts getting good again. Like, that whole thing, I was like, I don't like the vibes of this. But here, oh, this was fun. Pooch finds out that Alyssa knows about Oasis. Like, she said the name and everything. And it's because Kyle told her. That's an update I must have missed at some point. I do my best, but I'm only one person. I can't read everything. So, at this point, he starts spiraling a little bit. He goes to Daniel, talks to him about it. Daniel suggests that it might have been Kyle, but Pooch thinks it's Joseph. And it's like, your cuddle buddy? You're turning on him because he said he was not overly enthused by the cuddling? Oh boy, this is juicy. So Pooch leaves. Smelvis looks at the camera and he's like, I think Pooch is about to blow up. Pooch confronts Kyle and he denies telling Alyssa anything. And Pooch decides to believe him, and he further suspects Joseph. So then he goes to Alyssa, finds out how she knew, and she's like, I just heard it through the grapevine. And, like, at this point, he's just spiraling bad. And, when it seemed like it was starting to cool down, that's when I went to bed. But I woke up finding out that Pooch told Amira that Joseph said to watch out for her, to watch out for Amira. And I'm like, oh, yes. Oh, this is amazing. And it's just like, Pooch is burning every slight hope he had of surviving. Like, at first, I was thinking it might be an 8-4 vote. Like, it is going to be close to unanimous. Like, I would not be surprised if he gets at least 10 votes to evict out of 12. Pooch is burning his own bridges from the sounds of it. Yeah, he is. Like, Turner is the only one that still seems to have his back. But yeah, now Joseph doesn't trust him. And now Amira, she is not going to take this information lightly that Joseph said to watch out for her. She's she's going to be watching him now. And I love it. He doesn't leave on Sunday, I'll be very surprised. Yeah. Well, the eviction is technically tonight. We're just not going to see it until Sunday. But we're going to get the feeds at some point, and we're just going to see whether Taylor or Pooch is still there. And it's like Pooch is really doing everything he can to leave. And he started doing it when he nominated himself. Like when he volunteered to go on the block as a pawn. Just foolish. He's just a very bad player. Um, Something else that happened last night that did get me a little worried again about Taylor. Alyssa was jealous about Taylor and Kyle talking, and like Taylor and Kyle refer to each other like as being possibly America's sweetheart. And Kyle was right because Taylor is America's sweetheart. Kyle is not America's sweetheart, but he's not as hated as I thought he would be. Like I don't even hate him as much as I thought I would. Like he's an unemployed twerker, nerdy guy from Utah. Like, what am I supposed to like about him? Like, okay, I could get on board with liking a nerdy guy, but you know, he's just kind of goofy. Like, there's no way I'm gonna like this guy, but he's definitely in the top half for sure. Like, even the top third, maybe. But yeah, anyway, Alyssa is just so jealous about this, and you're not in a showmance with him yet. Like, you have a crush on him. He kind of likes you. But even if you are in a showmance, you're both allowed to talk to other people. Okay? Like, if you do get in a showmance with him, you can't forbid him from talking to other people in the house. Although I guess her problem is talking to other women in the house. And Kyle knows about the crush that she has on him. And he intends to drag out the crush as long as he can for his game. And that's cutthroat right there. I kind of admire that. And something else Kyle said that I really enjoyed was he's over Jasmine getting basically pampered. Like everyone waits on her hand and foot. Like I've already talked about how Nicole wiped her butt for her. Again, sprained ankle, not broken hands. And like everyone brings her stuff. They cook her food for her. Like she barely gets out of the HOH bed. And again, I hate comparing her to Christmas and using Christmas as the positive example. But when Christmas had her scooter with her fractured ankle, which is like a much worse injury, Like, Christmas had her scooter. She was flying around the house. She was going everywhere. Jasmine doesn't want to move. Kyle is just like, he's over her getting pampered, and he suspects that she gets pampered and waited on hand and foot in her day to day life, which I think is probably true. So, yeah, I admired Kyle for saying that. He's, he's speaking some truth there. All right, this is the last thing I want to talk about because it annoyed me. And I'm going to make sure to call him Smell This for this one because this one smells. He says that Taylor flirts with him, but she doesn't have a chance. And I quote, "You should see my resume." Dude, if you have a long resume when it comes to being with women, you probably have a disease. It is possible to be overqualified on this subject. She can and will do so much better than you, okay? He is almost 10 years older than her. He he continuously looks like he's aging. Like when he lets his beard grow out, he's got a lot of gray hairs in it. And it's like, I know how it feels. Like, you see that right there? I got a little gray there. So, I can sympathize with that, but, I also recognize that I don't have a shot with Taylor. I mean, if I was in there, I'd probably have the best chance. I'd have a better chance than anyone else in that house would have of getting with her. And I've mentioned this before because I would want to be I want to be close to her in that game. I'd want to be her friend. And I definitely treat her with more respect than anyone else did. And yeah, I'll just say it. I probably would want to get in a showmance with Taylor. But I would manage my expectations. Because Miss Michigan, okay? She was an actual Miss America contestant. And it's like, dude, she doesn't need you. She doesn't want you. And you don't deserve her. And that's how I'm going to end all my notes. This is the part where I check Twitter, see if anything big has gone down since I've been streaming. Other than the very first stream I did for this season, where I found out that Joseph replaced Marvin, I haven't really, I haven't really checked updates and gotten anything too shocking. Here, sorry, I had to take a phone call. No worries. I didn't think you'd be here at all, so I appreciate your presence. Just having you here at all, I'm happy. You've said that now. Someone's gonna have walked out now. LOL. Oh, well, let's see if Pooch keeps spiraling. All right, nothing on my main timeline. Let's check Big Brother Daily, BB updates. It hasn't updated in 12 hours. Now let's check the hashtag. All right, Scarlet Trigger warning, but here's that picture of Turner's nasty feet. Look at how dark they are. Like, he himself is so pasty. Oh god, lol. Yeah. Yep. Seems to be a slow day so far. Tonight will be good, but we won't even get to see it until Sunday. And typically the show airs at 9 o'clock Eastern time. So they're in California, so if, like, it airs at 9 o'clock over there as well. So probably after the episode ends for them. So it'll probably be about 1 a.m. when the feeds come back on and we finally find out who left. I'll try to stay awake for it, but we shall see. Yep, that seems to be about it. Not finding anything groundbreaking that I don't already know. So I think Turner will vote to keep Pooch. I don't know how aware Joseph is of Pooch trying to get him out. So if he's not aware, then that could be 2 votes. Monty, I just don't trust him. He could be 3. But I think everyone else is pretty locked in. I'm thinking minimum 8-4 because, there's always the chance someone could go rogue to pin it on somebody else. I could very well see one of the women going rogue and pinning it on Brittany, like, oh, it was supposed to be 9-3, but it was 8-4. So clearly Brittany threw a rogue vote, which annoys me when they try to do that because they can never prove it. It's just gonna be suspicion and hearsay, which is all this season has been. So it probably will happen. But I'm gonna. My official prediction is that the vote is going to be 9-3 to evict Pooch. That is my official prediction. So yeah, um, that will do it for this stream. Thank you, Scarlett, for watching. I appreciate it, and I really admire how far you've come in figuring out how this game works. And yeah, we'll see how tonight goes. I really hope Pooch is either convinced that he's staying and gets blindsided, or realizes he's going and continues to tailspin. Like, either way, either of those things, I'm going to be happy with. All right, that'll do it for this stream, and I will see you next time.